to talk to you a little bit about Kamala Harris because it's a conversation the last couple of days that myself and J.D. Sharp,
Yes.
my co-host, my regular co-host, talked about. And J.D. said that the issue of her, Kamala Harris, having an affair, having a relationship with Willie Brown, who was married at the time, the former mayor of San Francisco, that she might have, quote unquote, slept her way up the ladder. I had a serious problem with that statement. First of all, who cares who she slept with 30 years ago, number one. Number two, I think we all could agree, you can disagree with some of her policies or politics. Kamala Harris is a pretty intelligent lady. She's done very well for herself. She's winning in the game of life, and not because she sleeps with men. I just found it to be very disrespectful to her. The fact that she is a very powerful woman, not because she slept with men, because she's very intelligent and educated. And who cares who she slept with 30 years ago? Michelle, as a woman, what is your take on this? What is your feeling on this?
Yeah, as a woman and as a Californian growing up in the 80s and 90s when Willie Brown was one of the most well-known politicians, you can't deny that they had a relationship. They both admit it. So, yes, they did. Mm-hmm. But should it be brought up? I absolutely do not think it should. I'm also a woman who has run for office, and I hate the way that people treat women running for office. It's always, you're mean, you're this, you're too pretty, you're not pretty enough. It's always about our appearance. It's always about how we talk. It's always if we're the B word. Who did you sleep with? What have you done? It's ridiculous that we degrade women this way.
It's a double standard.
And we act like they don't have a voice, that they don't have a voice on the issues, that they don't have an intelligent part to the conversation. And I hate that we do that to women. And we do it a lot on both sides of the aisle.
Wrong. And it's wrong, and it's a double standard.
Yeah.
And, you know, there are a lot of I shouldn't say a lot, but there are some Trump supporters out there that think this is an issue, that Kamala Harris might have slept with a man who was married 30 years ago. And I say to them, did you have a problem that Donald Trump has kids with 3 different wives? Do you have a problem that he slept with a porn star just a few months after his wife had a child? Do you have a problem that Donald Trump has 25-plus women that have accused him of sexual assault or rape? Do you have a problem that Donald Trump's ex-wife accused Donald Trump of rape in court documents? Because if the answer is no, then shut up. I don't want to hear you talk about this. I don't want to hear anybody talk about we agree. I don't think anybody should be. You know what I want to hear people talking about? And by the way, not a huge Kamala Harris fan, but I do have respect for her. And you tell me as a Republican if you agree with me on this. Here's what I think Republicans should be talking about when it comes to Kamala Harris. Why did you put so many people behind bars for minor drug violations?
Yes.
How can you get along with the president if he becomes President Joe Biden when you couldn't get along with him on a debate stage when it came to race relations? Those are the type of things that I think Republicans should focus on. And those are the type of questions that I would ask her myself if she came on our show. The idea that my co-host, and I know he can't defend himself now.
Sure.
But my co-host believes that should be brought up in a debate, that somehow the person on the debate stage, the monitor, should say, excuse me, Kamala Harris, what would you say to some people out there that think you slept your way up the ladder because you had a sexual relationship with the former mayor of San Francisco 30 years ago? Michelle, it's so ridiculous to me. I don't even know. It gets my blood boiling, as you can tell.
It is ridiculous. The problem is that it doesn't just happen to her. And I could obviously have seen questions like that being posed to other women who have run for office, even like a Sarah Palin, who I'm not the biggest fan of either. But I feel the way that she was treated during her race was just abhorrent as well. And that's really the big problem. Why are we bringing sex and who you sleep with and what you do into any of this? It really does not apply. As a Christian and as a Republican, I believe in redemption. I believe in second chances. I believe that people change. And I believe that we should be as moral as humanly possible. But let's be very, very clear. Politicians are pretty immoral people. They're pretty imperfect people. And quite a few of them have slept around with a lot of people. Willie Brown was cheating on his wife for years, and nobody says anything about Willie Brown.
Stephen Horsford, I attacked Stephen Horsford for the story that came out about what he did too, but I think listen to where I'm going with this. I think there are different levels of being immoral, right? There's Donald Trump immoral, right? Cheating on multiple ex-wives. There's different levels of it. Kamala Harris sleeping with a man 30 years ago that may have been married at the time.
No, he was.
Okay, so it might be a little immoral, But I think Donald Trump having sex with a porn star a couple months after his wife has a child and then paying her off $120,000, there are different levels. You see where I'm going with this of being immoral.
I get that you think that there are different levels, but there actually aren't. It doesn't really matter if you're like sleeping with a married man or if you're sleeping with a porn star. If you're breaking the marriage vows,
but he's
it's
done that.
immoral
He's
and
done
it's
that
wrong.
3 times with 3 different marriages.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of people who have done that.
I agree.
And that doesn't necessarily mean, and people change. And this is
Donald
the thing.
Trump hasn't changed.
As someone who has met the man, as someone who's been involved with the White House, as someone who sits on a White House committee with the president and with many people who know him, I can say that there has been a distinct change in the man over the years.
Trump?
Yes.
I'm
confused. He is not the same. That's not saying he's perfect, that he doesn't say crazy things
You
or
mean
anything.
morally?
He has had changes morally. Yes, he really, really, really has.
You really believe that?
I really believe it.
All right, so let me ask you this then. Then why is it that he had sex with a porn star a couple months after his wife had a child? And why is it they don't sleep in the same bed and she won't even hold his hand?
I believe 110% Donald Trump was super not saved then, and I don't know anything about their marriage.
That wasn't that long ago, though.
Yeah, but it was. He was not a saved man when Barron Trump was born. What was it? Barron's like 13, 14 years old. So he was not a saved man who knew Jesus back then, okay? And I'm not saying that, and just because you know Jesus doesn't mean you're good, doesn't mean you're moral, doesn't mean you're right, okay? Not at all. Not
so you
at all.
think he's improved morally since then?
I do. But that is because I've had personal interactions with him. Of course, I didn't know him when he was, in the 80s and 90s. I've only known him in this position of president.
All right, so let's go with that.
I had opinions about him as well, and I've truly seen that he's not the man I thought he was.
All right, so 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, when he said he didn't respect John McCain because he was captured, what is morally good about doing that? What is morally good about attacking Nancy Pelosi based on her looks? What is morally good when he was running for president, attacking Ted Cruz's wife?
But we're all immoral, and you were attacking Herman Cain earlier, calling him an idiot, which is totally okay. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to call you immoral. I would never do that.
But I think there's a fine line between calling somebody an idiot because they don't wear a mask and going after someone's service as a POW. Do you not? You don't.
Listen, I am not the biggest John McCain fan at all.
Neither am I.
I don't like him at
Neither
all.
am I.
But at the end of the day, I personally would never have said an ill word about him, particularly after his death. But again, I also don't want to say an ill word about Herman Cain after his death, and you're okay with that.
Well,
so what I'm saying is it's not as easy as tit for tat, and it's a lot about who you are as a human being.
I understand, but an ill word. The reason why I say that is because his actions killed him, and his actions could kill others. That's why I call him an idiot.
I do understand your point there. I don't agree.
I understand, but that's why I call him that. And going back to the John McCain issue, I think you have to be a certain type of horrible human being. Yes, I said it, horrible human being. By the way, Donald Trump dodged the military 4 times.
Bill Clinton did too.
And it doesn't make it right if you dodge the military. But my point is this. Somebody like John McCain, this has nothing to do with policy. We can disagree on, and by the way, I'm with you. I didn't always agree with John McCain. But to attack John McCain because he was a prisoner of war, to me, shows no proof to me that Donald Trump has changed at all. That is a despicable thing to do. I guess we will have to agree to disagree. I think he still says a lot of despicable things on a regular basis. He retweets people that scream out white power. He did that recently, and now he is trying to give credibility to a doctor who believes in demon sperm, and that is dangerous for the country. So, but
okay, that was Rudy Giuliani who said that Dr. Emanuel was her hero. I don't believe, unless I've missed
Donald Trump said that he respects her, that she is a respected doctor. He also retweeted her.
You can respect someone and disagree with them. I will respect that woman. She is a doctor. She's a minister. I disagree with her completely, 110%.
But how can you respect a doctor who believes in exorcism? How can you respect anybody who thinks all gay people are terrorists? How can you respect anybody who believes in
because I respect
sperm?
Human life. I don't believe in demon sperm. I don't believe you're going to get endometriosis if you had a sex dream with a demon. I don't even know how that's possible.
When Donald Trump retweets that, that gives her some credibility, and people believe it. Can you understand how that could be dangerous to society when the president of the United States gives somebody like that credibility?
I think it's dangerous to society when Twitter will censor the president and conservatives and not censor other public officials, because we should not be censoring at all.
But that's a different subject. But I do believe that if the president retweets somebody like that, it is dangerous for society, because this woman said, don't wear masks, and there's a cure for the virus. Both are not true. Both are ridiculous. Now, if Donald Trump retweets that out, which he did, and then it was since deleted because he knew it was wrong or somebody told him it was wrong, some of his followers, some of his ignorant followers, are going to believe it.
No, they're not ignorant just because they question, because they don't spoon feed themselves whatever the government tells them.
But it's not just about questioning. There are people that are going to see that are going to go out there and think that there's a cure and not going to wear a mask. Just like there were people that took...
Oh, but there were people who add aquarium cleaner because they thought hydrochloroquine was a cure, and no one ever told them to have aquarium cleaner. We can't keep making these connections.
But Donald Trump, in a coronavirus press conference, is the one that even entertained the fact that maybe you could take these type of disinfectants and it could cure the virus. He's the one who brought it up.
And they were actually working on studies to do that. And he didn't say go and drink Lysol. But Lysol got in its brilliant mind that, see, he told everyone to drink Lysol. No, he didn't.
But he brought it up in a coronavirus press conference, and I think most people would agree it was inappropriate for him to even bring it up because I
don't think he should speak at whim and just kind of talk about whatever's on the forefront of his mind, like Dr. Brick said after that.
Right.
I don't think that is terribly helpful. But it's also not helpful when the media comes at him and says, he told everybody to drink Lysol. No, he didn't. I listened to that press conference word for word. He never said any such thing.
But he brought it up, and he entertained it to doctors, which is extremely irresponsible and ridiculous. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I think the president has a responsibility.
But you know what? If we had more truth and transparency, because everyone tells us hydrochloroquine doesn't work. Oh, the studies show. Well, show me the studies. You might say, oh, that's too much. You're not smart enough to see it. No, show us. Be transparent. This lack of transparency is why there's doubt.
Well, there is a lack of transparency on both sides. I just want the president to be a little bit more responsible.